Would you rather, Brody, be an animal?
Yeah. Okay. The question was, as I try to find it, would you rather know 100 languages of your choosing, or be able to turn into any animal you could think of whenever you want for however long you want?
You have complete control, then yeah, I think you got to say animal.
Oh,
but
okay.
The language, yeah, I just think that has a little more upside.
Kind of unanimous around the room, surprisingly.
Yeah. We started on languages, and we all worked our way to animal as well, Brody. So impressive that you arrived there immediately.
Golly, is this going to be a bad transition? I'm going to try this. It's going to be
You
bad
got it.
radio. Speaking of animals, Tyler Shelvin's really been playing well over the last 5 games.
I love it.
It was bad. It was bad.
No, I give it a thumbs up.
Great article on Shelvin. What'd you learn about him?
I mean, I learned. I think a lot of what we already kind of knew was that Tyler Shelvin. I mean, he was #1 player in Louisiana in the 2017 class. I mean, he was always this massive freak that Orgeron loved, and he's not your normal big guy. I mean, he's somebody who can dunk the ball over the goalpost, and he was a kicker and punter at Northside, and teammates tell stories about how freaks. I think Dave Aranda once told us a story about how he chased a running back 50 yards downfield at a spring practice. He's a freak, but the problem, as everybody kind of knows, is he struggled to get his weight down pretty much. First he was academically ineligible his freshman season, so he had a red shirt, and then last year he was suspended from the team for nearly 2 weeks because he couldn't get his weight down. I mean, he's been as high as 390 at times in his career, and it's just kind of this constant fluctuating thing. And I think the fun thing to learn was it sounds like a lot of the key to really getting Tyler Shelvin where he is now, and a lot of people get credit for the nutrition staff, the strength staff, him himself, but I think the relationship between Ed Orgeron and Tyler Shelvin's grandma actually gets a lot of credit here. I mean, they apparently talk, once a month, if not more, and whenever, Ed Orgeron's having trouble with Tyler Shelvin, he calls Miss Deborah, and Miss Deborah gets Tyler Shelvin in line. So I think it's a real fun story to look into.
Yeah, wait, so what was the story, Brody, about the linked bank accounts between Tyler Shelvin and Miss Deborah?
So Tyler Shelvin is kind of known for eating a lot of pizzas. So as a lot of linemen are. And so Miss Deborah's bank account is synced to Tyler Shelvin so she can kind of, keep track of him. And she basically caught him cheating when she looked on his bank account and found a nice little purchase at Little Caesars Pizza, and she immediately picked up the phone and tore into him.
That hot and ready temptation. Everybody's been there before.
And Brody does a great job of describing the conversation between the grandmother and the grandson. We've all been there.
Sounds like Miss Deborah gets after that ass. You ain't crossing grandma.
Well, my favorite was when she basically got on him to stop seeing his girlfriend so often, and he basically. It didn't make it in there, but he was basically yelling, like, I will not have this conversation with you, Grandma. I will not have this conversation with you. And she's just like, zip up your pants and focus on
Hey, I love that.
It was incredible.
Wait, and
that's it. That's in the article.
It does point out also in the breakdown that she seems very pleased that the girl's no longer in the picture. Is that true?
Yeah, I believe her quote was, that girl's history now.
Grandma keeping Shelvin right. Shout out to Miss Deborah.
All right, Brody, everybody's talking about LSU's offense versus Florida's defense. When you look at that matchup, how do you see it shaking out?
I think it's fascinating because, I think in past years, Todd Grantham is just so known for, just sending the house. We've all heard the third in Grantham, and he's one of the most aggressive coordinators in college football. But this year, I mean, Andy Staples at The Athletic had a fantastic piece today. I recommend people checking out. But, he's not doing that this year. There's so much talent on that Florida front that he's going with 4-man rushes and even 3-man rushes at times, and he's trusting his guys to win one-on-one. So I think that's fascinating because not that LSU offense has genuinely struggled with anybody, but the only times that LSU has had any real struggles is when teams, go with 3-man rushes, drop guys back, and Joe Burrow kind of struggles to find guys open because there's 7-8 guys in coverage. So I think if you do that against if a Florida team does that can also get a genuine pass rush with just 3 or 4 guys, that is, I'm not saying Florida's going to win, but that's kind of one of the few ways you could probably beat this LSU offense. So
yeah.
I'm curious. I think Florida can definitely be the first team to slow this LSU offense down, but I still think at the end of the day, LSU can still get, it's 34, 35 points on them. And I have a good feeling about LSU's defense in this matchup. I think it is kind of a good matchup for LSU.
Okay, so that's where I wanted to go next, Brody, because even more so than on our podcast yesterday, the deeper I get into the Florida weeds, the more separation I start to see between this Florida offense, which is kind of grinding for every scrap that they're getting right now, versus an LSU defense that I think is very talented. Like, to me, there's a lot of pressure on Dan Mullen because that defense is better than Florida's offense. And if Florida has a lot of success, that will be because they simply out-schemed LSU.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we all know, Dan Mullen has a bit of a history of doing that against Dave Aranda. I think I give LSU the advantage on the front lines, especially if Rashard Lawrence and maybe even Glenn Logan are back in the picture. I think I give the advantage there to LSU because it is a troubled Florida offensive line, and but Florida has some. I think their skill players are a little underrated.
Yeah.
The running back's really good. Their receivers they have a really deep and versatile group of receivers that can make life difficult for. So I give LSU the advantage maybe on the outsides because I do feel that good about Stingley and Fulton. But what's LSU's biggest issue? Defending the middle of the field in the pass game. And they look better against Utah State and Jordan Love, and 2 of their picks from the middle of the field. So give them credit where it's due. But Florida, that is where they have the most success, is passing in the middle of the field, like a Texas, for example, where they're really good at putting those mismatches in the slot. That's how they got at least 1 or 2 of their touchdowns against Auburn, was getting those mismatches there. So I think if Florida were to win that battle, I think that's how you do it. But at the end of the day, I think I give LSU the slight advantage there.
Do you expect the best environment of 2019 on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think you guys know better than me, but I think it's going to be one of the better ones since I've been here, which isn't too long of a time. And it was interesting. My colleague Will Salmon wrote about that matchup today between the Florida offense and the LSU defense, and he said they're already factoring in about 8 seconds of they're trying to take out an extra 8 seconds of time to prepare before plays because they imagine that crowd is going to be so damaging to this that Florida offensive line and a new quarterback and whatnot. They're accounting for that really playing a part.
Yeah, I will say this, too. As good as Florida's defense has looked, look at some of the offenses that they faced, right? And then last week, even, that was Bo Nix in a hostile Florida environment. They are facing a completely different challenge this week.
Brody Miller over at The Athletic. Hold that podcast.